Mm. Can't get my camera right. Hmm? No, I gotta go in there. Now are you zooming?
All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Law, and we are going to begin with the expedited accusation calendar for today, July 3rd, 2024. And these are misdemeanor cases in which individuals were recently arrested and booked at the Fulton County Jail. Soon after being booked in, the case has been formally accused by the Solicitor General's Office of Fulton County. Therefore, this would be the defendant's first appearance with a judicial officer. Please remember, if you are charged with one or more misdemeanor offenses, you have a right to remain silent. Anything that you say during the course of this recorded and live stream proceeding, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. Ms. Bridgewater, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Your reset date for the SAP calendar is going to be July 16th.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you. So when I call a case to be addressed, first of all, I will let the individual know what is their accusation number, what are the charges brought against them, him or her, to set a bond, and also to provide you with a court date if it's required. We will be looking at your criminal record history as well as the allegations set forth in the arrest warrants brought in these cases. After argument, the bonds will be set. The bonds could either be a signature bond issued either through pretrial services or through the jail, with the requirement that conditions have to be complied with in order to avoid the signature bond from being revoked. If the signature bond is revoked, they could be converted to either a surety bond or a cash bond. For some of you who do not qualify for a signature bond today or a release bond, you will then receive what we call a surety bond or a cash bond. In order to be released, you would need to comply. You need to either obtain your bond from a bonding company or pay for the bond out of your own pocket. Now, I see that there are some individuals who are present who are not attorneys. If you're not an attorney, but you're a victim or a witness here to testify, please keep your screen on mute and switch off your video until the defendant whom you're interested in addressing is being called. So please mute your screen and switch off your video. The gentleman on iPhone and the lady on iPhone, okay. Okay, courtroom 2, who do we have?
We have position number 1, Ms. Chester Horton.
All right.
Good afternoon, Judge Jabari Jones from Miss Chester Horton.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Quinay Chester Horton is accused of battery from October 9th, 2022, case number 24CR 4372B. Ms. Horton, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney, Mr. Jabari Jones, is present on Zoom. Let me see. Mr. Howard, any priors?
No.
All right,
She
thank
had
you.
91. You want the percentages?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Ms. Williams, yes. Any recommendation?
Yes, the recommendation is $2,500 good bond, no further contact with the victim in this case. It is a 6-year-old by the name of Lourdes
Yeah, we're going to keep the,
Ramsey,
okay, what was the initials of the name? Just the initials.
AR, Your Honor.
Okay, good. And what's the reason for the surety bond?
Specifically because of the victim, Your Honor. The victim, again, is a 6-year-old who was put under the care of the defendant in this case, and who, after investigation, was seen on video surveillance handling this 6-year-old in a very aggressive manner, after initially not advising that she had any contact with the child.
Okay, anything else? Has there been contact since 2022?
There should not have been. It's my understanding she was not allowed to return to that school, which is the Barack and Michelle Obama Academy.
Okay,
The remainder of the recommendation is a continued stay away from that location, which is 970 Martin Street, Southeast Atlanta. No further contact with the victim. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons, Your Honor.
thank you. Mr. Jones, anything to add?
Yes, absolutely, Judge. Thank you. Miss Chester Horton is 33 years of age. She's never had any arrest or any contact with any courts or law enforcement prior to this. She worked in special education for 11 years before this false accusation was made. And
Is she still got any contact with the academy?
absolutely not. She's currently employed with Wells Fargo and runs a sign company with her husband. She has 2 children, ages 9 and 4.
And no affiliation with that particular academy. Would that be correct?
Correct. No reason to go back. Does not wish to go back. So that's not an issue.
All right. That's good. Thank you, Mr. Jones. Thank you.
Also, the
ask for
victim's mother is on the line as well.
Mr. Jones, yes, if
Yes.
you just give me a moment, please.
Okay.
Mr. Jones, I will let you continue in a moment. Ms.
Very well.
Ramsey, are you Ms. Ramsey?
Yes, I
Trotter?
am.
Okay. Ms. Trotter, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes,
All right. Is your child identified as AR?
yes,
All right. And has there been any contact with Ms. Chester Horton since October of 2022?
no,
And has there been any communication between you and her since October of 2022?
no.
All right. Other than going into the alleged allegations of this case, what else would you like to tell me?
I would just like to add that my child is on the spectrum. She is nonverbal.
Okay, that part I've already got. That's already in the warrant.
Okay,
Anything else?
okay. And yeah, 2 weeks leading up to the bruises on her arm, Lourdes was reluctant to get out of the car. She was terrified. And I thought it was merely not wanting to go to school, but that wasn't the case at all.
Okay, and these are factors I guess you will definitely share with the prosecutor as this case moves forward. Okay?
Yes.
Bond is set at 2,500. It's a signature bond through pretrial services, level 1. Anything else to add, Mr. Jones?
No, Judge, we
right.
just wanted the unsecured judicial release. So thank you for that.
So this is a signature bond through pretrial services. She will report to pretrial once a month. She's to have no further contact with the individual identified as AR, and she's to stay away from the Obama Academy. No illegal drugs and no alcohol. And her next court date will be sent to her current mailing address. So Mr. Jones, please be sure that both your entry of appearance and her current address are with the clerk's office.
Yes, thank you, Judge.
All right, this case is further notice for trial. Thank you.
That's all I have. May I be excused?
Yes, Mr. Jones, have a good day. Thank you. Yes, Ms. Crowder?
May I be excused as
Yes,
well?
yes, you are. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next case, please.
Position number 21. Yes.
Okay. This is State versus Melanie Yanes, accused of simple battery family violence from July 2nd, 2024. Ms. Yanes, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Miss Kim. Any prize, Mr. Howard?
No, she's 17 years old, by the way. This was
Okay.
level 1.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Desiano, good afternoon. What's the state's
afternoon, Your Honor.
recommendation?
The state's recommending in this case, Your Honor, an SOB through pretrial, no further contact with the victim, a stay away from the incident location, taking complete 1 day of anger awareness, an ADET, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And Your Honor, that's based on our office made contact with the victim in this case, and she says that at the time of this incident, that drugs have been an issue. She was hallucinating on some drugs, on some pills, and she attacked her when she tried to take away her bottle of pills.
Okay. Is Miss Yaremi, is it Gutierrez available? All right. And Miss Kim, does your client still live at the 1001 Johnson Ferry Road in Sandy Springs?
Actually, I believe they live at 2819 Porter Drive, Lawrenceville, Georgia.
Okay.
Yes.
And does your client still live with the mother?
Yes. However, I spoke with her mother and through the translator, who was her older brother,
Mm-hmm.
they did not want to be a co-signer. So if she gets pretrial service, she has to be released without co-signer, Your
All
Honor.
right. Does she have any adult relatives who can co-sign and house her?
Well, I try to convince her older brother, 26 years old, and father, they all denied to co-sign.
And Your Honor, I will add that our office did also speak with the older brother. He was agreeable to no violent contact. He's obviously not a victim in this case. But it's my understanding that the mother, when we spoke to her today, she was not sure if she wanted contact and she was teetering back and forth. So in an abundance of caution, the state's asking for no further contact, but it's my understanding that the brother is willing to maybe not house her, but at least have contact with her.
What's the brother's name?
Christian Rodriguez.
Christian, common spelling?
Common spelling, yes.
And Miss Kim, is your client able to identify any other adults who could co-sign the bond?
No, no
Oh.
other, Your Honor.
Thank you. Miss Melanie Yanes, your bond is going to be set at $5,000. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services, level 2. You'll be reporting to pretrial services twice a month. You are to have no violent contact with Yaremi Gutierrez. Your brother, Christian Rodriguez, has to co-sign the bond. So, Mr. Howard, please make a note. Christian Rodriguez has to co-sign the bond. Once she is on the signature bond, she's subject to a curfew of 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. She must continue with her high school education or GED. And she's not to consume any illegal drugs and no alcohol. She will be subject to random screens by pretrial services. If she fails a drug screen, she'll be back in jail on a $5,000 surety bond. Miss Yates, you will remain at the Fulton County Jail until your brother comes and co-signs your bond. After that, you have to be sure that you have no further altercation with your family members, including Miss Yaremi. And if you violate these conditions, you will be back in jail with a very high bond. Make sure that you maintain a current address with the courts at all times. Thank you.
What's those curfew hours again?
6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Okay.
Go ahead, ACDC.
ACDC, who do we have? Oh, here's Christian, about time. Christian Rodriguez.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Rodriguez, I understand you're Miss Melanie Yanes' brother.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. If you want to have your sister released from jail and be subject to a pretrial signature bond, which means that she'll be monitored by pretrial services, you would need to come down to the jail and co-sign her bond.
Okay.
All right, thank you. You're free to go.
Can I
ACDC,
just,
who do we have? I'm
am I
sorry,
allowed to ask you real quick?
what's the question?
I just wanted to ask, does that mean I agree to sign for her or?
I don't understand your question. If you want her
Uh,
released from jail, you have to come down and co-sign the bond. If you want her to stay in jail, then she stays in jail.
okay,
And her
sounds good.
next court date will be July 16th. Are you
July
planning to co-sign the bond or are you planning to leave her in jail? A 17-year-old.
Leave her in jail.
All right, that's up to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Kim, your client's next court date is going to be July 16th.
Yes.
Until the family has a change of mind. ACDC, who do we have?
You're on the position 10, Miss Lowe, L.O.
Do I pronounce this as Mame Lowe?
Yes.
All right. This is Miss Mame Lowe, case 24 CR 4370C, accused of simple assault, family violence. Appears to have, who's the companion co-defendant?
It's position 19, Judge.
19, okay. And is position 19 at ACDC as well? Sokna Toure?
Oh, she's in the courtroom. So
Okay, Sokna Toure, is that you in the courtroom too?
she's in courtroom too, but she's not in the seat.
She's not what?
In the seat.
Could we have her in the seat, please? I'm going to address both cases. So Miss Mame Lowe's case number is 24 CR 4370C, accused of simple assault, family violence with regards to a Sukna Toure. Sukna Toure is in courtroom 2 under accusation number 24 CR 4363C, accused of simple battery, family violence. Both of you have been advised of your right to remain silent. Ms. Who is representing position number 10? Ms. Mame Lowe.
Judge Law, I think Ms. McLeod is representing one of the cases, the conflict
Yeah.
case. She went
I'm trying to
to,
figure out which one is it?
Representing position 10, Mame Lowe.
so the other position is being represented by Ms. McLeod, but she went to the misdemeanor mental health court counter real quick.
That's fine. I just need to know who's representing Mame Lowe. Is it the conflict or is it the PD?
I am representing Mame Lowe.
Oh, Ms. Tay. Okay, I'm so sorry, Ms. Tay. Gotcha. All right, Ms. Tay is representing Mame Lowe and Ms. Maureen McLeod is representing Sukna Toure. And Mr. Howard, any priors on Mame Lowe?
She got a 2023 maintaining a disorderly house and a fray. That's
Okay,
open in Judge Dixon Court.
Okay, and that's the one ending in 8286C?
Correct.
All right, thank you. And what about Miss Sukna Toure?
First.
Okay, thank you. And Miss Desiano, what's the recommendation for Miss Lowe?
Your Honor, the recommendation for both defendants is a signature bond through pretrial. We'll defer to the court as far as no contact and stay away, taking complete 1 day of anger awareness and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond.
All right, thank you. Miss Atay, any objection to the stay away with regards to your client?
Yes, Your Honor, I do object to the stay away, and of course, we'll have to wait to hear from Ms. McLeod, but my client would prefer no violent contact because the cross defendant is her daughter. Her daughter is 21, my client, 20, sorry. Here, Your Honor, my client has 6 children. The youngest child is 17 years old and is under her and her husband's care at the incident location or the home address. So
That's not true. The incident happened at the
Your
shop.
Honor,
Hey, I'm not the one talking. Who are you telling me?
I think we should wait for Ms. McLeod to be
No,
here.
I'm not going to wait for Miss
Advise her.
McLeod. I am not going to wait for Miss McLeod. This is first appearance. Miss Atay, give me your best argument. We've got I'm asking you, what's the objection to the stay away?
Okay, yes, I object to the stay away. She is raising a minor child in that home. the cross defendant is an adult child. It's my client's home. She lives there with her husband, raising a minor child in that home. She's raised 5 other children, Your Honor. And she does tell me that this entire incident happened because the cross defendant, her daughter, has been smoking weed and drinking alcohol and bringing that into the home. And she doesn't want, she's trying to protect her 17-year-old child against that. And of course is meeting resistance from the cross defendant.
All right. And the young lady next to you is the mother, correct?
No, Your Honor, she is the daughter.
Oh.
My client is at ACDC. Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to be sure about that.
Oh,
Thank you.
that's why I was saying, if it was my client, I would have asked her to exercise her right to remain silent. She's not my
Understood.
client.
No, I understand now. Thank you. On the excuse me, give me a moment. Your client,
I believe the incident location is actually a hair salon. I'm sorry.
And that hair salon, Your Honor, is my client's business. She has.
Okay. 3700 Campbellton Road?
Yeah, she owns 2 businesses. One is a braid shop and one is an African restaurant.
Okay, thank you. And your client is Mame Lowe with a date of birth 1968, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
The young lady who's at ACDC, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, that's fine. On the simple assault family violence, the bond is set at $2,500. It's a signature bond through pretrial services. She's to have no further contact with Sukna Toure. She may return to her home and she may return to her businesses, but she's to have no contact with Sukna Toure. And her next court date will be sent to her current mailing address. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons and no firearms. Thank you, Mr. Tate. Okay.
Your
And
Honor, I'm
yes,
sorry. Mr. Cloud says she'll be logging on in 10 minutes.
okay, then I'll address Ms. Sukna Toure at the end of the calendar. Hopefully, Ms. McLeod would have joined us by then. Otherwise, I'm prepared to rule on a bond. Next case.
Position 6, Ms. Hill.
Excuse me, Your Honor, but what level was Miss?
Oh, level 1 for Mame Lowe, yes.
What was the amount?
2,500. Signature bond, pretrial level 1.
Okay.
Tamika Hill is accused of criminal trespass from July 2nd, 2024, case number 24 CR 4364C. Ms. Hill, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is it Miss, who is, Miss Atay, sorry. I do apologize, Miss Atay, the screen is not very clear for courtroom 2. You keep getting blocked behind the words courtroom 2. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. Mr. Howard, any priors on Miss Hill?
18, 2024 FTA. She has an open vice charge out of DeKalb County.
Okay.
On
Thank you.
probation.
No, that's good. Thank you. And Miss Williams?
Yes, Your Honor, this is, state recommends a $1,000 good bond, stay away from the incident location, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right, thank you. Miss Atay?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 47 years old. She has lived in Georgia all her life. She has raised 5 children. She graduated from high school. She does suffer from several disabilities with her, including MH disabilities, Your Honor. She denies the allegations as stated in the warrant, and she can't afford any bond. I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services.
Okay. Her original bond was set at 10,000. It's being reduced to 1,000. It is a surety bond. No further contact with Licinia Stinson, and to stay away from 35 Northside Drive in Southwest Atlanta. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. And her next court date is July 16th. Thank you.
No, it's $1,000 bond.
Position number 9.
This is State versus Bashara Leverett, accused of battery, cruelty in the third degree, 2 counts of cruelty in the third degree, from July 2nd, 2024. Ms. Leverett's case is 24 CR 4369Y. And Ms. Leverett, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Atay. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
No, level
Okay.
one.
Ms. Williams, any recommendations?
Yes, the state recommends a $2,500 good bond on the battery, Your Honor, and a $500 good bond on each of the cruelty charges, a stay away from the incident location, and no further contact with the victim and the 2 juveniles.
Okay. Ms. Atay, any objection to the stay away?
Well, Your Honor, I didn't speak with the complaining witness, but this incident happened at my client's job.
Mhm.
The Stonewall Academy, actually, her mother owns this daycare center. So, but I haven't spoken with the complaining witness, and I do believe that the mother owns other locations. I spoke with her mother, and she stated that if there's a stay away, that her daughter can work at a different daycare location. So, and no further contact is fine. I would say that this is her very first arrest. She's 22 years old. This happened while she was at her job. She does firmly deny the allegations as stated in the warrant, and states that the complaining witness was the first aggressor. And I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services.
Understood. On the battery charge is going to be a 2,500 signature bond through pretrial.
Excuse me, Judge, I would like to speak.
And I don't know what's your name.
My name is Tucoria Williams.
Okay, and Miss
That's the
Williams?
victim, Your
All
Honor.
right, okay. And Miss Williams, are you driving?
No, I'm not. I'm just sitting.
Okay, then
actually
pick
just
up your
sitting
phone
here.
and put it right in front of your face. Pick up your phone and put it up and right in front of your face. All right. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are you still a customer at the Stonewall Academy? Stonewall
Yes, ma'am.
Day Academy. And are your children still paying customers there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's all I need to know. Thank you.
Okay.
With regards to this case, on the battery charge is 2,500. On each count of the cruelty is 1,250. Ms. Leverett, your total bond is a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services. And you're going to be on a level 2 reporting. That means you report to pretrial twice a month. You are to stay away from Stonetail Day Academy, and you stay away from any institution where children under the age of 16 attend. Do you understand? You cannot work at any daycare facility. So if you're planning to seek employment, do not work at any of your mother's daycares. You're not allowed on any of those facilities. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You are to have no contact with Tacoria Williams and her minor children. You are to report to pretrial twice a month, attend 2 anger awareness classes with pretrial services, and you're not to consume any illegal drugs, any alcohol, and no weapons and no firearms. If you violate the conditions of this bond, or if you are arrested again for anything else, the $5,000 signature bond will revert to a surety bond or a cash bond, but only after you're arrested again. Understood?
Yeah.
All right. Next court date will be set to her current residential address.
Thank you. Position number 12.
And I'm sorry, did I hear position number 12?
Yes, position number 12, Monroe.
Thank you. This is Shatera Lenitra Kolinik Monroe, accused of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer And Miss Desiano, or is it Miss Williams? The second
me.
count been NOD?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. She's got one count of willful obstruction of an officer, 24 CR 4352C. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
No, jail was the recommendation.
Miss Desiano, I've read the warrant. The bond is going to be set at $10,000. It's going to be a signature bond through the jail. If she gets arrested again the next time, this signature bond through the jail will be converted to a cash bond or a surety bond. And that's it. Thank you. Make sure that she understands this is an open, active case and she needs to report when summoned. Next case, please.
Position number 2, Foster.
This is Brandon Foster, accused of driving improper and erratic lane change, giving false information to an officer, and driving while license suspended or revoked from July 2nd, 2024. Mr. Foster has been advised of his right to remain silent, and his attorney is going to be Miss Kim. Miss Kim, I think I read the accusation number. Did I? Sometimes I forget. I don't remember. 24 CR 4353M. Okay, there we go. Mr. Howard, any prior arrests or driving infractions?
10 total. Last arrest was June 10th. Theft by taking and conversion. That's 24 PI 004133. I saw 06 suspended license as far as driving. He got an open case out of car, damage to property, terroristic threats.
Damage to property and terroristic threats. Okay, thank you. Ms. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor, the state recommends a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, $500 on the improper erratic, $1,000 on the giving false information, and $1,500 on the driving while license suspended or revoked. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Okay, Ms. Kim?
We have no objection, Your Honor.
And I'm sorry, that was a surety bond, was it, Ms. Williams?
No?
That was a signature bond through pretrial,
Okay.
Your Honor.
I'm just wondering, Ms. Kim was paying attention. That's all.
I am paying attention, Your Honor.
All three counts is $1,000 each. It's a 3,000 signature bond through pretrial services, and this will be per judge since he's got an open felony case. He will be reporting on a level 3. That means he reports once a week. No driving without a valid driver's license, adequate insurance, and proper registration. Thank you. Next court date will be sent to his current mailing address.
Thank you.
Position number 3, Gooch.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, when he stepped out. Can we do position number 5, Mr. Harris? Alton Harris.
Alton Harris, would that be correct?
Correct.
Alton Harris has been accused of simple battery family violence from July 1st, 2024 under case 24 CR 4360G. Mr. Harris, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is Ms. Atay. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
21 total. Last was 2018 for deposit account fraud. 2014 simple assault conviction. I stopped there.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Atay? I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. Ms. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor, the state recommendation is a $2,500 good bond, no further contact with the victim, Ms. Rosalind Godfrey. Stay away from the incident location, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And if we could sound for the victim in case she is on the Zoom.
Okay. Ms. Rosalind Godfrey. Ms. Atay?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 60 years old. He has lived in Georgia he's a Georgia resident, for 18 years, Your Honor. And he firmly denies the allegations as stated in the warrant. Unfortunately, I was not able to get in touch with Ms. Godfrey, the complaining witness. But he states that a lady next door called the police, and that he has spoken with Ms. Godfrey since he's been here. And it's stated in the warrant, and my client also told me that she is the payee on his disability.
Yes, I noticed that too.
So,
Yes.
I mean, I wish I was able to get in touch with her. I don't know what we can do. I really don't want to stay away because he won't have a place to live and he won't have any money if he can't have contact with the payee of his disability.
Understood.
And Your Honor, the state would just like to put on the record that we have been in contact with the victim and she completely denies that there was any argument over any money.
Understood. But I'm just going by the warrant. I'm just going by the warrant. I'm not getting into a he said, she said situation.
Oh, Your Honor, but I would just like to say that if she denies that there was, anything physical or denies what is in the warrant.
Let me ask Ms. Williams, were you indicating there was no physical altercation either?
No, that is not at all what I'm indicating. I'm only stating that she advised that what the defendant advised is not true, that the argument had nothing to do with any type of payments or being a payee.
Okay. Anything else, Ms. Ate?
Well, Your Honor, I just would like to know if when the state spoke with the complaining witness, does she state that she's afraid of him and she doesn't want contact? Because I don't want my client to be without a place to live for no reason and not able to get in touch with the payee of his social or his disability benefits.
If victim advocates wants to chime in at this time, they're free to do so if they have been in contact with Rosalind Godfrey.
She did state she wanted contact and was okay with him returning back to the residence.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Alton Harris, your bond is going to be set at $3,500. It's a signature bond through pretrial services, and it's going to be a level 2 reporting. First of all, you are to have no further violent contact with Rosalind Godfrey. If there are any physical or verbal altercations, and you'll be arrested again and brought back to jail. While you are out on a signature bond, you will attend and complete a 24-week family violence program. Since you're not paying for your bond, you're going to pay for some classes. And this is 24 weeks of classes that you have to enroll within 30 days of being released. If you plan to amend your payor situation with Social Security, it's your responsibility to go to the appropriate Social Security office and amend that arrangement. But that's entirely up to you. Do you understand? In the meantime, you are not to have any violent contact with Rosalind Godfrey. You may return to 3030 Continental Colony Parkway if that's where you live. You are not to consume any alcohol and no illegal drugs, and you cannot possess any weapons or firearms. You will be subject to random screens by pretrial services. If you consume alcohol or illegal drugs and you test positive, you could end up back in jail. Understood?
Yeah.
All right, don't forget to enroll in those classes within 30 days of being released. Thank you.
All right.
And was that other individual back?
Yes, but I would like to ask about a Raymond Young. He's not on the calendar, but he's on our pull sheet for the state.
Who is
That's gonna be an NOD.
Okay, there we go.
Come on, Gooch. Position 3, Gooch.
This is State versus Marquis Gooch, case number 24 CR 4355Y, accused of failure to use a crosswalk, essentially jaywalking, and willful obstruction of an officer. The allegation is that he ran away. and this is from July 2nd, 2024. Mr. Gooch, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Atay. Any priors, Mr.
26 total.
Okay.
Open drug case out of Superior Court, 23 SC 189764. 2021 probation, 2014 probation. Jail is the recommendation.
Okay. Ms. Williams, I've read the the warrant, and I'm going to set the bond at 1,000 each. I'm sorry, 500 and 1,000. So the total bond is 1,500, signature bond through the jail. Mr. Gooch, this is your second open case. You've got one open case with the Superior Court of Fulton County, and now you've got an open case with the State Court of Fulton County. Please don't forget to come back to court when summoned. If you fail to show up, we'll issue a warrant for your arrest for failure to appear. Please comply with all rules regarding the road, including no jaywalking. Thank you.
Your Honor, which one is the 1,000?
Oh, the willful obstruction.
Thank you.
Oh, so Your Honor, it's a 1,500?
1,500, 500 on count 1, 1,000 on count 2. And please make sure your client understands he's got 2 open cases now.
Yes, Your Honor. He did tell me he's never had an FTA, so I thank you for the signature bond through the jail.
Next case, please.
Stonewall.
Position number 4.
All right. Who is representing Christian Gualiardo?
Your Honor.
Miss Kim? All right. Miss Kim, is there a language barrier?
Nope, he was born here in Georgia.
Okay. This is Christian Gualiardo, accused of battery, family violence, and simple battery from July 2nd, 2024. Your case number is 24 CR 4358B. And you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Miss Kim. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
I got first.
Okay. Miss Williams, any recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. The state recommends a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, no further violent contact with Nicholas Guagliardo and Vincenzo Guagliardo. A stay away from the incident location, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and to comply with meds. I'd like to sound for the victims as I believe that they wish to address the court, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Vincenzo Guagliardo, if you'd like to raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Do.
All right. Does Christian live at your same location, 210 Marblehead?
Currently, but he's been removed from the house via the homeowners.
Who are the homeowners?
Our parents, Nicolo
Okay.
and Guagliardo.
So does he have another alternative address?
Does not have any alternate address, and it's the opinion of myself, my brother, the other victim, and our parents that he needs to come with us today to a mental health facility in Florida for 30 days. It's a rehab facility recommended by his therapist, his psychiatrist, as well as doctor. He spent about a week in Peachford.
If you look at the screen, I think courtroom 2 has a different message to convey. He's shaking his head vigorously. So, all right. And what's the name of the facility, by the way?
It's Honey Lake Clinic in Greenville, Florida. It's a very nice rehab facility. He has been prescribed medication, but
Actually, this is MH issue, Your Honor. Either we go to breakout room, or I would like to request for stopping the live stream.
Understood. Thank you. I'm just going to call you Mr. Vincenzo. Do you and your brother plan to have Mr. Christian back in the house?
no, we do not plan to have him back in the house.
Okay, thank you very much. Miss Kim, I'm sorry. Mr. Williams, did you have anything else to add?
No, Your Honor. Just the no further violent contact and the stay away from the incident location.
I'm not
And,
sure about the for the
complying
violent
with
contact, but we will see what Miss Kim says. All right, Miss Kim, apparently your client is, the warrant did make reference to some issues that may require some kind of alternative care, but you tell me.
My client is 25 years old. When I was interviewing, I did not see any of that. And even though there is, it's not something that we should be discussing here in the public at the live stream YouTube. We have, I don't think that they do not reside at that location, 210 Marblehead Lane. And I have not had a chance to discuss with his parents whether he was actually removed. So we would like to request for signature on bond through pretrial and no further violent contact with the brothers, and they're going back home as long as his parents agree for him to come back
Your
home.
Honor, I have a written email from my father, the owner of the home, that he is no longer allowed in the home.
Mr. Vincenzo, please don't interrupt.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything else, Ms. Kim?
Nope, nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. Bond is set at 1,500. Is a was that me talking? Okay. A bond is set at 1,500 on each count. That's a $3,000 surety bond. No further contact with Vincenzo Guarliardo and Nicholas Guarliardo, and he is to stay away from 210 Marblehead Lane in Roswell, Georgia. No alcohol, no illegal drugs, no weapons, and no firearms. Thank you. Next court date is July 16th.
And Your Honor, was that a signature bond through pretrial?
It's a surety bond. I have no residence.
Surety.
All right. Next position is I believe that was the companion case, Mr. Khan Toure. Is that correct? Is Miss McLeod here? All right, Miss McLeod.
I am, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I apologize for being late, Your Honor, but I was held up in another court session.
No apology. You are not late at all. We got your hold for report. So your client is Miss Sokna Toure, accused of simple battery family violence from July 1st, 2024. Miss Toure has got a cross defendant. And I believe that was, I'm so sorry, it's been a few cases ago. So
yes,
it's Miss May Malo.
I believe it was her mom.
Yes. Okay, sorry about that. And Miss Mamelo received a signature bond. She was allowed to return to the location and allowed to return to her businesses, but she's to have no further contact with Sukna Toure. And it was a 2,500 signature bond through pre-12. Your client's alleged incidents from also the same date, case number 24 CR 4363C. Ms. Toure has been advised of her right to remain silent and her and you are her counsel.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, yes. And one of the things, this is the first arrest cycle.
This is her first arrest, Your Honor.
Yeah. So, Ms. McLeod, I've already been apprised of the allegations. What is your recommendation?
My recommendation would be a signature bond to the jail, Your Honor. My client is a student. She's a sophomore in college. She also tells me that she does not have to go back to the home because she was actually away at college. She just came back for a little while, and she has an alternative residence that she can go to, so she does not have to go back around her mom. And she's okay with no further contact.
Okay. Bond is set at $2,500, signature bond through pretrial services. This will be a level 1. No further contact with Mame Lowe. She has to stay away from 3700 Campbellton Road. She has to stay away from Miss Lowe's residential address, as well as any of her businesses or wherever she happens to be physically located. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms. And her next court date will be sent to her, whatever her mailing address is. So she has to make sure that she updates the court with her current mailing address within 30 days of being released.
I have spoken to her about that, Your Honor. She's going to call me as soon as she gets out so we can do the new address.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 8, we'll get our log.
Ms. Bridgewater, that was 2,500, right? Signature bond through pretrial?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll make sure I write that then right. Okay. Position 8 is Demetrius Lawson, accused of battery family violence from December 31st, 2023, involving one Miss Johnson. And Mr. Lawson, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Miss Atay, and your case number is 24 CR 4368J. Any priors?
6. He had a suspended registration from this year. I didn't see any violence.
All right, thank you. Ms. Williams?
State recommends a $2,500 good bond, no further contact with the victim, Stiletti Johnson, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and a stay away from the incident location.
I don't believe Miss Johnson lives there. I think it was somebody else's home.
Her
Was she
mother
there
lives in the
London?
complex. I'm not sure
Oh.
how far her mother's unit is from where the defendant resides.
Okay, all right, thank you. Ms. Atay,
Yes, Your Honor,
any reason why your client needs to go back to that complex?
he lives there. That's his address. And from what he tells me, the complaining witness does not live there. The complaining witness is his current and at that time girlfriend's sister. I spoke with his girlfriend, and she stated that the complaining witness would be on the call. I don't know.
Okay. Miss, I think it's Miss Stasis Johnson. I may be mispronouncing her name. No?
Okay.
And what's your recommendation?
Your Honor, well, I would like to ask for a signature bond through pretrial service.
Hello?
Oh, yes. Who's speaking?
Chardonnay Brown. Hello?
We can't see you, so we have no idea who's speaking.
Wait, right here.
And who
Hello?
are you calling about?
I was asked to join the girlfriend. I was asked to join the video.
Who are you calling about? What's the defendant's name?
Demetrius Lawson.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, just a minute. I'm sorry, Miss Atay, what were you trying to say?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 49 years old. He is the father to 7 children, including 3 minor children, 15 years old, 12 years old, and 4 years old. The 12-year-old is the one who's described in the warrant as being pushed by the complaining witness. I would like to ask for a signature bond through pretrial services. My client tells me that the complaining witness was the initial and primary aggressor. She pushed his son. She spit on him several times while he was holding his other child, who's 4 years old. A dispute about a cat scratching a bicycle seat, which he and his girlfriend were storing for her sister. She came in the home, destroyed their television, and her sister confirmed that to me when I spoke with her. He was trying to diffuse the situation when he was spit on several times and attacked by the complaining witness. He does work. He has worked for several years at Grady as a utility supervisor. He's a high school graduate. He attended some college. He pays child support for his other children and is actively caring for his minor, the minor 12-year-old and 4-year-old. I would like to ask for a signature bond through pretrial services for my client, and I, of course, would object to stay away. The complaining witness does not live there and has no reason to be there, and if anything, to visit her sister, but her sister says that she doesn't come there, and no further contact with the complaining witness is fine, nothing further.
All right, thank
And
you.
the state would like to place on the record, Your Honor, that her mother does reside there, and that's why she was
No, I
there
got
at
that
the
part.
time.
I got that part. What I'm concerned about is how frequent does she visit? But I'll take that into stride. Bond is set at $2,000. It's a signature bond through pretrial services, level 1. No further contact with Ms. Stasis Johnson. And Mr. Lawson, I'm not going to keep you away from the apartment complex. You can return to your home. But from this point onwards, until further order of the court, if you see this individual at the complex, you are required by law to turn around and either go back to your apartment or walk away. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you engage with this individual, you'll be in violation of your bond and you'll be arrested again and brought back to jail. Your next court date will be sent to your current mailing address. Please be sure that you maintain a current mailing address, no illegal drugs and no alcohol, and you report to pretrial once a month. Thank you.
Okay.
Position number
Your
11.
Honor, could we put any yardage on that?
It'll be very difficult because they live in the same complex and she's a licensee at the property. She's not a resident of the property.
Position number 11. Matthews.
Ms. Brown, you may leave the Zoom. Thank you. And position 11, and that would be Michael Matthews is accused of stalking, a misdemeanor offense from April 22nd, 2024. Mr. Matthews has been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Atay. Your accusation number is 24 CR 4371D.
Fourth
Any
arrest.
comments? Sorry?
Last arrest was in 1988
Okay, thank you.
for battery resistant.
Ms. Williams?
The state recommends a $2,500 good bond, Your Honor, a stay away from the incident location and no further contact with Miss Denise Smith, as well as no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And if we could sound for the victim in case she's on the line.
Denise Smith. Please unmute and start your video. She is on Zoom. But if she doesn't want to respond, that's also her right. Okay. Ms. Atay?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 58 years old. His last arrest was in 1988. I think he's recommended for a signature bond through the jail, and that's what I would be asking for in this case. And of course, I don't object to a stay away and a no further contact with this person. When I'm reading the warrant, I mean, he firmly denies the allegations as stated in the warrant, but when I'm reading the warrant, it looks like she was supposed to be buying a car. My client works at a car dealership selling cars. And she tells the officer that she thinks she's being stalked and she has received texts, but she doesn't have them anymore. And she doesn't even remember what was said in those texts. The last contact, while they were talking about buying a car was in February, and, that the allegation is that my client went to her home one time on April 22nd. I don't know where the stalking is, Your Honor. My client firmly denies the allegations as stated in the warrant. He states that they've actually been friends for 20 years. He's sold cars to her mom, several cars to her, sold a car to her son, which she was supposed to co-sign for, and then at the last second backed out of co-signing for that. Anyway, he's totally fine with no further contact. He is 58 years old. He hasn't been arrested in 1988. He is the father of a 34-year-old daughter, and he has a 13-year-old granddaughter. He's happily married. He works, he's been working for several years in sales, and graduated from high school, has an associate's degree, and yeah, nothing further. I would like to ask for the signature bond through the jail as he is recommended.
Bond is set at 2,500. It's a signature bond through pretrial services, level 1. No contact with Denise Smith, which means there shall be no contact in person, through a third party, through mail, email, any kind of phone or computer device, and even on social media. You shall stay 200 yards away from 1000 Park Place in Atlanta, Georgia. You're not to contact any of Miss Smith's family members if that's also who you apparently know, in order to communicate with Miss Denise Smith. So highly recommend you stay away from Miss Smith and anyone that she's related to in order to avoid any trouble. You are not to consume any illegal drugs and no alcohol, and your next court date will be sent to your current mailing address. Thank you.
Number 13, Price.
Your Honor, my business is concluded today. May I be excused?
Yes, Ms. McLeod, have a great holiday week. Take care.
Thank you. Same to you.
All right, this is Ambrose Price. Would that be correct?
Correct.
Okay, case number is 24 CR 4354E. Mr. Price is accused of criminal trespass and causing damage to property from June 28th, 2024. Mr. Howard, any priors?
A Price, third arrest, 2017 stalking harassment dismissed. And the 08 suspended license. Jail was the recommendation.
This is Ambrose Price.
Yes. I got
Yes.
an A Price and a D Price, so that's A Price. Yeah. That's all right here.
And what's the date of birth that you have for A Price?
Oh, I don't know. I have to look it up.
You said 2017 stalking harassment?
Correct.
Okay.
Dismiss.
All right, thank you.
I'm
Do
showing
you want me to look
date
it
of
up?
birth
No,
is-
that's good. I'm
date of
good.
birth is 1971, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Desiano, what's the recommendation?
Your Honor, that stalking case was dismissed in Pennsylvania. The state's recommendation is an SOB through pretrial, no further violent contact with the victim. Our office has been in touch with her. She said she's not in fear of the defendant and would like contact. Taking complete 1 day of anger awareness, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond, and if the court can sound for Ms. Trotty.
Ms. Trotty? Ms. Kim, the bond is set at $1,000, a signature bond to, actually, this is going to be through the jail. No violent contact with Shamita Trotty, and I'm not going to impose a stay away. And his next court date will be sent to, I guess, the Cedar Run location if that's where he lives. If he changes his address, he's required to update the court of his change of address as soon as possible in writing. Thank you.
Number 15, Reed.
This is State versus David Wayne Reed, 24 CR 4356A, accused of simple battery and willful obstruction of an officer from July 2nd, 2024. Mr. Reed, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Kim. Any priors?
It's fourth. 2024 DUI, 1998 theft by receiver.
Was that a 2024 DUI?
Yes.
Okay, and 1994, what was that?
1998 theft by receiver.
Theft by receiving, excuse me. Okay. Okay, Ms. Desiano?
Your Honor, the state recommends in this case the signature bond through pretrial, no further contact with the victim, a stay away from the incident location, taking complete 1 day of anger awareness, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. For the record, Your Honor, our office has been in touch with the victim. She does state that she wants contact. However, the allegations in this case is that he grabbed her by the neck, and there was a witness to this particular altercation who's a neighbor who told the police that he has witnessed several physical altercations between these two parties, and that's why the state's requesting no further contact. If we could sound for Miss Ebony Edwards.
Ms. Ebony Edwards, if you'd like to speak up, this will be the time to unmute. All right, Ms. Kim?
Yes, my client is 47 years old and he's gainfully he's not actually employed. He lost his job and he is supposed to start his new job probably hopefully Monday if he gets released. And he has they're still living together, Your Honor. But if he has no objection to no further contact or stay away, and even though he strongly prefers no further violent contact. Your Honor, he completed high school. He had 1 year of college education at Arkansas Pine Bluff. He's been here in Georgia for the last 24 years. And this is, I believe, his first time being arrested for any kind of violence charge. We would like to request for signature on bond through pretrial level 1 and no further violent contact.
Okay. On the simple battery is going to be 1,500. On the willful obstructions, 1,000. Total bond is 2,500. It's a signature bond through pretrial services level 2. He's to report to pretrial twice a month. He's to have no further contact with Ebony Edwards and to stay away from 4755 Yates Road in Atlanta, Georgia. He may return one time only with a police officer to retrieve his personal belongings, and that visit cannot exceed 1 hour. After that, he's to stay away from that location and have no contact with Ms. Edwards. He must update the court with his new mailing address within 30 days of being released. And Mr. Edwards, while you are reporting to pretrial, you will enroll in what we call a domestic violence intervention program within 30 days of being released. You are to attend all 24 classes, and you have to show proof of completion to your pretrial officer after 24 weeks. Please, no illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons and no firearms. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 16, Roberts.
This is State versus Isaiah Roberts, accused of reckless driving from July 2nd, 2024. Mr. Roberts, your accusation is 24 CR 4357F. You have been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Kim. Any priors?
No.
Okay.
No.
And Ms. Desiana, was it?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommending a signature bond through pretrial and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol out on bond.
All right.
And
all right. You good with that, Ms. Kim?
Yes.
Okay. On the reckless driving, it's a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial services, level 1. No driving unless he has a valid driver's license, adequate insurance, and proper registration. His next court date will be sent to his current mailing address. No illegal drugs and no alcohol. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Add on position number 1, Williams.
Your Honor, this is actually going to be a PAD case. The reason I accused it was because we spoke with Ms. Drew from PAD. They're closed tomorrow. So I've spoken with Ms. Kim. What we've agreed to is if we could do an SOB jail for this with a specific provision in the bond order that he must report to PAD on Friday.
All right, just give me a moment. Ms. Umberger, just to avoid any mishaps, has it been confirmed that Darrell Lee Williams qualifies for the PAD program?
Yes, ma'am. I actually interviewed him this morning.
All right. The bond's going to be set at 2,500 signature bond through the jail to be released to the PAD resources, and he's to stay away from all Marta property.
Your Honor, I think, I'm sorry, Ms. Kim or Drew, I think that he's supposed to be released though with the signature bond through the jail, not to PAD, but released the signature bond through the jail, not
to PAD resources. Maybe I misspoke. I mean, to avail itself of PAD resources. So are
Your
they
Honor,
going to...
the issue is that PAD is closed tomorrow. So what the reason why I accused this case was because if he doesn't show up to PAD, then we've dismissed the case and there's nothing. So what we've agreed to do is we accused it, and then if we could do an SOB jail today, he'd be released today, and then put in the order that he must report to PAD on Friday when they reopen.
Okay, we'll do it that way also. He'll report to PAD. I'm trying to use as broad language as possible. So if he is going to avail himself of PAD resources, give me a report date, put that in the bond order. Most importantly, Mr. Williams, you have a permanent ban from all MARTA facilities. So if you return to any MARTA station, or if you are on any MARTA buses, you will be back in jail. And next time there won't be a signature bond at all. At least not from me. Thank you.
So he's reporting to PAD on Friday?
Apparently so. I'll get the proposed bond order and then.
Okay, someone is gonna.
Yeah. And what was the amount that y'all have set it at? 1,500 or 2,500?
2,500 SOB through the jail.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, I have a question. Obviously I don't know much about this process, but
What process? The pad process? Then you
No.
might be the same boat.
No, with the courts process, Your Honor. If he is released signature bond through the jail today
Yeah.
and reports on Friday like he's supposed to and
Mhm.
completes enrollment, then I let the solicitors know and then they dismiss the case. Will he, because the case may be dismissed, does the MARTA still stand?
He's got a permanent ban, so he cannot go
Okay.
back to MARTA no matter what. He's
Okay.
been arrested because he's in violation of this permanent ban. He
Okay.
doesn't have a fixed duration.
Okay, understood.
Okay. All right, moving on to our next case.
I have announcements. Position number 7 and number 20 are medical resets. Position,
Okay, just 1 second. Quinetta Jones is a medical reset?
correct.
All right, so that will be addressed on July 5th. There is no first appearance tomorrow. Okay, and what was the other one?
Position number 20, Williamson.
20. All right, position number 20, and oh my goodness, there we are. Ambrose Williamson is reset to the C calendar on July 5th at 2 p.m. And this is a medical reset?
Correct, yes, ma'am.
All right, so as there is no C calendar tomorrow, this will be addressed on July 5th, and there shall be no Riverside issues.
Position number 17, Sims. She posted bond.
All right, 17 has been released and further notice for trial.
Number 18, Thomas, posted bond.
Fransky Thomas has been released and further notice for trial.
That will conclude the calendar.
All right, thank you, Deputy. If I'll just go over the calendar with the attorneys. Position 1 is a 2,500 signature bond through pretrial of level 1, and position 2 fosters the 3,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge, level 3. Position 3 Gooch is a 1,500 signature bond through the jail. Position 4 Guagliardo is a $3,000 surety bond. Reset date July 16th. Position 5 Alton Harris is a 3,500 signature bond through pretrial level 2 with a domestic violence enrollment, DVIP enrollment. Position 6 Tamika Hills, $1,000 surety, reset July 16th. Position 7 Jones is a medical reset to July 5th. Position 8 Lawson is a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, I believe.
Yes.
Position 9 Bashara Leverett is a 5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2 for the notice, with 2 anger awareness classes to be taken in February. All right, Gregory Williamson, were you trying to say something?
Oh no, ma'am. I was here in honor of Ambrose Williamson. I'm his father.
All right, please mute your screen. Mame Lowe is a 2,500 signature bond through pretrial services. No further contact with Sokna Tuar. Michael Matthews is a 2,500 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Stay away, no contact. Position 12, Shatira Monroe is a $10,000 signature bond through the jail. Position 13, Ambrose Price is a $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Position 14, Maria Price. What are we doing with that case?
That's another medical reset.
Oh, okay, sorry. So that's reset to July 5th at 2 p.m. Position 15, David Breed is a 2,500 signature bond through pretrial level 2 with DVIP. Position 16, Isaiah Roberts is a 1,500 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 17, Sims is reset and further notice for trial. Position 18 is released and further notice for trial. Position 19 is a 2,500 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No contact with cross-defendant, further notice. Position 20, Williamson is a medical reset to July 5th at 2 p.m. Position 21, Melanie Yanes, is a 5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No contact and stay away. Co-signer is Christian Rodriguez. And add-on, Daryl Lee Williams is a 2,500 signature bond through the jail to report to PAD on July 5th, 2024. Do the attorneys have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Howard, any questions?
I'm good.
All right, Ms. Bridgewater?
I'm great.
All right, folks, y'all have a great July 4th, and we will see you on the 5th. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you, Judge.
Bye-bye.